Applying for home and auto loan could be frustrating, especially if you have less than perfect credit and limited cash. Ignoring your credit can have a serious impact on your overall ability to grow financially, and lack of credit is one of the biggest factors for high interest rates and even worse, not even being approved for the loan. They say that cash is king. Well, if so, then credit is an all powerful genie that rules the world. Will you be a pawn in the financial game of chess? Or will you learn to master the game and rule the board? I'm John Lee, and this is Urban Mastermind. What's up, y'all? If you're anything like me, then you love getting free stuff. What if I told you that out of the last $500 that you spent, you can get $200 automatically deposited back into your account? Would you take me up on my offer? Would you share it with your friends? Well, Chase Freedom Flex is doing just that. If you could figure out how to spend at least $500 in your first 3 months of having a car, then they'll deposit $200 automatically back into your bank account. All you got to do is click the link in my bio to see if you qualify. It's a smart thing to do. All right, let's get to this workout. All right, so about 5 years ago, I seriously began to work on my credit. I just started a new job and was in real need of a car. Because I was selling cars at the time, I knew the impact of what a credit score had on your interest rates. However, at the time, I personally hadn't checked my credit for several years. I was about 27 years old when I first logged back into Credit Karma, and to my surprise, I had a credit score right around 350 points. That's right, 350 points. Now, naturally, this was really concerning to me because I dealt with people with less than perfect credit for months at that time, and I knew what it was like trying to apply for an auto loan without having the credit. And not only an auto loan, I wanted to buy property. I wanted to do some things with my life. So I began to throw myself into the study of credit and into the study of building my personal credit. And these are a couple of things that I learned that helped me not only to get out of the spot where I was. All right, so the first thing that I was able to learn that I had to implement right away It's something that might be able to go without being said, but if you're currently in the position that I was in and your credit score is less than perfect, maybe your credit score is horrible. Mine was bad. Then maybe you might need to hear this. But the first thing that you need to do is start paying those bills on time. Your credit is not something that's normally built overnight. Credit usually takes years, um, but you can make some immediate shifts and get some immediate progress if your credit is as bad as mine was. So the first thing that you need to do is start paying those bills on time. Let's schedule that, let's budget that, let's make sure that we're only taking out loans, we're only taking out bills or taking out loans if we must take out loans on things that we can afford to pay. There's a couple of strategies that I employ to make sure that anything that I sign my name to, that I promise to pay, was something that was within my means and well within my means. One of the rules that I initially took out for myself is that if I can't buy five of them, if I can't pay for five of them right now, then it doesn't make sense for me to sign my name to five of them. And maybe not like right now out of pocket, but right now with my current income that I was making at the time. And so the things that I immediately started to do was to reduce my spending. I dropped all the unnecessary subscriptions. I had the Netflix, the Hulu, and like 50 other ones that I had just signed on to over time. Some were taking out $3, some were taking out 10, 15, and like amounts that I wasn't even noticing. But then when I went over my bank statement, I started to see, oh, okay, this is 50, 60, $80 a month that's just disappearing on stuff that I'm not even using. Yes, I kept my Netflix, but I was able to switch that over through my phone plan, because my carrier offered it, and I was able to wrap that into my phone plan. So that eliminated most of my Netflix, my Hulu, just stuff like that. Apple Music, things that I pay for that I need. Actually, I love my Apple Music. I kept that one, but I had two gym memberships. Come on, you really probably don't need two gym memberships. And you don't need the most expensive one like I had. I was paying $40 a month. I cut it down to $10, and it saved me over time, a large amount of money. Um, the next thing that I was able to do was I managed my monthly bills by shopping around for cheaper rates. At the time, I didn't have a car, but this is even something that I used when I purchased my car and I went back over my budget, which is something I do periodically. I saw that my insurance was X amount, and I cut it down even to save $30, $40 a month. Is money that I can put elsewhere, and this money is that's gas, that's groceries. Gas is high right now, so I put $50 in my tank just to fill up. So if you can cut a couple of different bills, I was able to save, two, $300 out of my budget, which was able to give me the money that I used to pay off some of the debts that I had accrued. The next thing I did was I reviewed my bank statements and I tracked my spending. Um, when I look back at all my fast food, all my drinks, all my just this and that, and buying stuff and just random things that I just would swipe my card for. And I had a ledger right there on my bank statement showing me all the things that I had spent my money on. All right, so the second rule that I recommend everybody needs to be doing right now is to be monitoring your credit. By neglecting my credit, I dug myself into a really deep hole. When I began to pay attention to my credit, I began to understand where I was going wrong. It was exciting to watch my credit adjust as I paid off my debts and as I did these different strategies and started becoming current and on top of things. One of the first things that I used in order to build my credit, I used Credit Karma. Credit Karma allows you to check your credit multiple times. I'm actually on there several times a day still. But even now, I use other sources. Chase allows me to check it. I have a Barclays card, which allows me to check it. And pretty much all of my major credit cards that I use, I have a Chase Freedom Flex card, but Chase has a really nice platform that allows you to do it. Discover allows you to check your FICO score, just so you can stay on top of where you are and you can know, okay, well, this is where I still have work to do, and this is where I'm making progress. And it feels good to make progress on something that you work on, trust me. All right. So the next thing that I recommend everybody do, the third rule, is to eliminate your collections if you can. Hopefully you can't relate, but if you're one of the more than 68 million Americans that had a debt and collection, that you know the damage that even one collection can do to your credit. By collecting several derogatory marks on my profile, I was showing potential lenders that I was both unable and unwilling to pay my bills. After learning a few tricks on how to deal with the debt collectors, I was able to negotiate down the two collections that I had and pay them both off. And because I negotiated the removal of the collection to my credit profile with the payment, I was able to see results pretty much immediately. There are many ways to deal with debts and collection. Some can be completely removed by disputing the collection itself. Um, just make sure that when you do such a thing, that I would recommend working with a debt expert, a credit expert. Make sure that everything's together. Make sure you're doing things the right way. That's not how I did it. What I did was I spoke to the creditor directly. My collections, fortunately, were low enough that I was able to negotiate down a few $100 for each of them, and just go ahead and pay them off. Um, and so look, guys, there's not a one size fits all solution for any of this stuff. So I just recommend that when you move swiftly, but you also move smartly. Make sure you're working with somebody that knows what they're doing. My fourth rule towards building a better credit profile is to use your credit strategically. After building a solid foundation and removing the bad debt from my credit, always paying my bills on time, it was time for me to start using good debt. All the research that I've saw shows that when you use debt and you use debt properly, it shows the lender that you're somebody who's worth lending to. When I did steps 1 through 3, I began to notice major jumps in my credit score. So I saw that the lenders were reacting. Well, not the lenders, but that the credit bureaus were reacting to the moves that I was making and showing that, hey, I'm somebody who's making the moves that I need to make in order to be better. And it reflected in my credit score almost immediately, by the way. So one of the first things that I did, one of the first credit cards that I took out was a secured credit card from Capital One, and made sure that I kept my balance under that 30% threshold. And when I did that, and I did that for a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months, I saw more than 100 point jump in my credit score. So that was really exciting. It's almost like everything that I did shot my credit up. But when I got that credit card, and I used that good positive debt on my profile just shot my credit score up. And it did tremendously. I would not have had that more than 300 point jump if it wasn't for the credit card. And ever since, using and maintaining my cards, now I've got more cards. The Capital One was my only secure card, but because I was able to do well with that, they increased my limit substantially, starting with the $200 limit. And I only had to give them a $50 deposit to secure that card. Um, Now I'm in the thousands on that card. I don't really use it anymore, um, because I only used it for the purpose of building my credit. Now I use credit cards for getting points and making sure I get free stuff. I like flights. I like to not have to pay my full bill if I have to, and all types of perks and freebies that you get when you use credit properly. So one of my favorite cards is my Chase Freedom Flex card. The reason why I got that card is because they give you a $200 bonus for using $500. So essentially, I got 300. I got what, $200 for free. I only had to spend an additional $300. I used that to go to Phoenix for a wedding, and we had a great time. So my Chase card is probably my most exciting one, but I have others. I have a Barclay card, and I still got the Capital One. I'm still looking for some other ones as well. So get some credit going, and then you can get that credit growing. I say that. So It took me about 3 months to fully build my credit foundation, but I would say that it was well worth it. As each month passed, I noticed substantial growth in my credit score, even though I was doing things daily, pretty consistently for that 3 month period of time. I really started to notice the growth on a monthly basis, and by that third month, I was shooting up like hundreds of points at a time, and to the point where I was 300 points higher. I was able to get approved for the car that I wanted. My credit score was, when I bought my car, my credit score was still in the mid sixes. So it wasn't anything super crazy, but you know, be in in mid sixes or be in the mid threes. I think I choose the mid sixes any day. So, y'all, I just this is something that I wanted to talk about for the past 5 years, and I finally decided to take the plunge on this platform and start shooting videos. Hopefully, my experiences are something that somebody who's maybe where I was then, or maybe just doesn't have any type of direction, you can use the things that I'm talking about. And I'd encourage you to do a ton of research on your own. There's plenty of videos. There are plenty of credit experts that you can go to and that can give you advice. But you need credit if you want to grow. You need credit if you want to build. Unless you just have giant sums of cash laying around to be used for the spending purpose instead of for the investing purpose. I recommend investing instead of spending, personally. So, if you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. I got more videos coming soon. I've been dropping pretty much weekly, but I'm gonna be dropping more often. I'm looking to do at least 2 to 3 times a week, as well as my Instagram channel, Urban Masterminds. I have an Urban Finance Instagram channel as well, Instagram page as well. Go ahead and like and follow me over there as well. And hey, let's grow together.